Hi. Earlier we have done password generator. If you remember, we have created random passwords. And now we are going to use that password generator and we are going to build a password manager. So the output of the program will look something like this. So it is going to ask for which website you want to set the password. Give some website. Let us say Flipkart. And now email ID is automatically popping up. So we have set that default email ID because for everything you are going to use the same email ID. So we have set that email ID to be a default pop-up. And then if you click on generate password, now a password will be generated. And now if I say add, these details will be added in a file, text file. So click on add. This layout has to be changed a bit. Okay. So okay, there are details entered. Okay, so these are the details which are entered. It is asking yes, okay or not. Let us say okay. A pop-up window which is showing, which is asking you for confirmation. So the layout which you are seeing, we have to change that layout. Now if I go to the data.txt which is created, you can see that for this website, this is the email ID and this is the password, and this file will be automatically stored on your computer so that you can locally store the passwords, and whenever you want to set a password for a website, you can see this and you can copy paste it. And we have also added that particular generated password into your clipboard, so you can directly add that password to the website where you are trying to log in. Okay, now let's try it one more time. Let's view one more website. Amazon is the website. We have generated the password. Now if I click on add, now this pop-up is asking us if the details are okay. Is it okay to save? So yes, save okay. Now if you go to the file, so the details are added to the file. Okay. So like this, for every website, what is the email ID and what is the password that you have entered or automatically generated, they will all be present here. You can easily log in. Now we are going to use the previous password generator program in this program, and we are going to build the GUI first. So the look and feel of it has to be changed a bit. Here actually there is some gap here. We have to change it. We will change it in the program. And also this button is looking longer. We will align them all together and we will change the layout a bit. But anyway, this is how our output should look like overall. And the alignment part, we will do it in the program. Okay, thank you. So let's start by building the GUI. So initially we have to use a logo. We are using a logo. You can download some image from internet which is relevant to the passwords and you can use it. The image that we are using is this my pass and the size of the image is 200 by 189 pixels. So we are going to use this image and we are going to make it appear on the screen through canvas. So we are going to use canvas. In the earlier program also in the Pomodoro, we have used canvas. You might remember how we have created an image using a canvas. Let's write it. If you don't remember, don't worry, we will write it again. So from TK Inter, let's try to import everything. From TK Inter, import star. And now let's start out by creating the window. It is always same. Whenever you want to create a GUI, you have to start out by creating a window and give it a title, window.title. Let's say password manager, and then catch hold of it by calling the main loop, window on window, calling the main loop, so that the screen will be visible. Now just try to run it once. So a window will be created and it will have password manager as the title, nothing else as of now. Now let's try to create a canvas, and to the canvas we are going to add the image. How are you going to add the image? Photo image. If you remember from the Pomodoro program, we are using photo image. So let's set the height of the canvas to 200 and width of the canvas to 200 because the image is 200 by 189. So this height and width will be sufficient. And then let's create the logo image equal to photo image. Let's give the file name where it is present. So logo.png. Let's add it to the canvas by using create image method on canvas. Image equal to logo image, and also let's give the x and y for the center of the image. Since it is 200 by 200, let's give x equal to 100 and y equal to 100, and let's use pack as of now. Later when we get more widgets, we are going to add grid. Okay, let's try to see the output. Now we have got the output here where the logo is present on the canvas. Let's try to add some padding to the window. 2020. Pad X and pad Y of 2020, so that it will not be too close to the edges of the screen. There will be 20 and 20 gap on either side and top and bottom. So now you can see that there is padding added to the picture. Okay, fine. Now we want to build a GUI like this, where if you look at this entry is too wide. Okay, so the width for here I have given some rough numbers. The width is roughly around 35, and if I give the width as 35, that's fine. But there is a problem here. If I directly give an element's width as 35, the entire column is going to become 35, and the entire layout is going to get disturbed, and this element will also go to the right. Okay, and also here email name, this entry is also email ID entry is also going to be too large. So how can I actually solve this problem is, we will take an example and we will see. Let's go to the program. Here I have written a small program where I have created two labels. One is red and other is green, and I am using grid layout here. In the grid layout, I am placing this red label at 0, 0 and green label at 1, 1. Now if you see the output, now you can see that red label is at 0, 0 and green label is at 1, 1. Now let's try to create a one more label called blue label, and the width and height are 20 and 5. Now let's create one more label called blue label. Let's try to put it at row number 2 and column number 0. Let's have width as 20 and height as 5. Row 2 and column 0. Now let's try to run it and see. Now a blue label has to be created at row 2 and column 0. Now I want the blue label's width to be 40 instead of 20. I want it to expand to 40. Let's give 40. Now you will see that the entire layout gets disturbed. Now you can see that the entire layout got disturbed. The first column's width has become 40. The entire column's width has become 40 and the layout got disturbed. What I want is, I want this blue to be wider, but I don't want to disturb the other elements. So here we can use something called as column span. Now let's say we will add one more element to grid, one more attribute called column span equal to 2. Now if I run it, it is going to take two columns and the width is 40 and the other layout didn't get disturbed. Okay, so the same method what we have used here, I want to use in our GUI program, where I want the entry box to be spanning to two columns, not just one column, and it should not disturb the layout of the other elements. So this method we can use. Okay. Thank you. Hi, this is the layout that we are targeting. So if you see this, we have one, two, three rows, sorry, three columns, and rows are one, two, three, four, five. Five rows and three columns we have. And then this width is 35, 36, 21. These are all the numbers that you have to play with. I have just given some random numbers which will be close to this. We have to do some fine tuning. But anyway, don't worry about designing GUI too much. Okay. So they are all playing with the numbers. Once you give some number and then again tinker it and then again see the output, tinker it. You have to do that. You have to go back and forth doing this. Then only you will get the correct layout. We will do that as well. I have also done that in order to get this layout. So in this screen, if you see that in this GUI, we have different kinds of widgets here. So these three are labels. We have three labels and three entry boxes and two buttons. Three labels, entry boxes are three and buttons are two. So first we will create the labels, then we will create the entry boxes, and then we will create the buttons. Okay. Now the button add has been is actually stretched to 36. Let's see how it will look like once we stretch. Okay. Let's add the labels one by one. So this is going to take some time. We have to type each one by one. See, the reason why I am typing each line one by one instead of showing you the direct program is, if I show you the direct program, you will not be able to understand what is happening. If I do it line by line, you will be able to understand what exactly is happening after every line. We can stop the program and see the output, show you the output. Then only you will understand why we have written some line. Okay, so typing is going to take some time. Just be patient. So website label is added. So we are using label class. You know that label class is present in TK Inter. So we have three labels, three entries, and two buttons. Now let's try to change it. We have used pack, canvas.pack, but we'll use grid now. So change everything to grid. And if you observe it, our image is present in the 0 row and 1 column. Okay, so we are going to put 0 row and column number 1. And then we are going to lay out everything using grid, window label, email label, everything. All these labels are present in column 0. Row 2. Now let's see the output ones. Okay, so this is how it is looking like. We have to add the entry and then we have to add the buttons. We have to add three entries here and then two buttons here. Then finally, after we get the final output, we will try to adjust the numbers, the width and all. So we are adding a text box by using entry and we are naming it as website entry. And initial width we are giving 35, but anyway we have to see whether it is working or not. And coming to this width 35, this is an attribute of entry, not the grid. You cannot add width to the grid. Okay. In grid you can only give row, column and then column span. So 3 entries are created with some initial width. We will see those numbers if they are working out or not. And let's place them using grid. So row and column numbers you can see from the layout that I have shown you. You take a pen and paper and write the layout on the paper. From that you will get the row and column numbers. Now if I run it, you are going to see something like this. Okay. So basically it looks fine as of now. Now let's try to add the buttons. Once we add the buttons, there might be some problem with the layout. Then we have to adjust the width and we have to add column span. We have two buttons here. One is generate password. And the other one is add. Let's try to add them to the grid. The corresponding row and column. Row is 3, column is 2. Let's run it and see. Now we got everything fine, but one problem is this generate password should be here in our open the diagram once. So this generate password should be within this space and add has to be longer. I mean the width of add has to be more. So let's try to see that. So to the add button, let's add width from 35, 36 will give. Now add is long, but then this generate password has to be here. Okay, for that we are going to use column span now, so that it will be in the right column, right place. See, all these things you have to play with them and you have to understand. There is no rule or any science behind it. You have to tinker with the numbers and you have to see which number is working fine. Now it is looking like somewhat what we wanted. So can you do some adjustments here so that it will All of these will get aligned equally. So we are playing with the numbers now. So don't worry if you are not getting it right. It is not very important that you get it perfectly. Focus on the functionality rather than on GUI. GUI, if you sit and play with the numbers, you will get it right. Now it is looking a bit like what we wanted, but this website has to be increased. Width of the website entry has to be increased. We are just playing with the numbers. So it looks like how we wanted, almost close to how we wanted. Okay, so if you play with numbers, you'll be able to get it. Okay, so this is what we want the final output of the GUI to look like. Now we will start adding functionality to it. Okay, thank you.